So I think it's absolutely imperative. I think as Mark Twain said, to a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And I think for far too long, resourcing functions have relied on hiring in good times and firing in bad times as our method of managing our talent. And I think we need to move away from that. In particular, when we look at the current lack of engineering talent in the UK, the fact that it's set to get worse and worse, and we're an engineering company, so it's our mainstay, we need to adopt a different approach. And that different approach is, we can call it total talent management, and that's the ability for us to use all the tools in our armoury. So those will include what we call the 5 Bs, and they are buy, borrow, build, bump and bind. Just to explain what those mean, buy is the ability for us to hire ready-made skill sets from the market, so it's experienced hires on a permanent basis. Borrow is the ability for us to take on contractors and contingent workers from the market. Build is our ability to hire people as graduates, apprentices, or junior people that we build up within the organisation through training and development. Bump is succession planning, promotions, and capability development. And bind is those opportunities that we have when we identify skill sets that are hard to find and we want to retain. So what we do is we put a retention program in place to retain and bind those individuals to our organisation. So currently we're partnering with ManpowerGroup in 2 main areas. We're using Experis for our permanent recruitment through a managed service, and we're also using the MSP for our contract recruitment. I think going forward what we would like is a much more joined up process that targets a total management solution. As I mentioned the 5 Bs earlier on, we would of course, through our strategic workforce planning that we do as an organisation, look at managing the bind, build and bump. But of course for the buy and borrow, we would then want to partner with an organisation such as ManpowerGroup to be able to supply the necessary skill sets we need. But that all needs to be driven through our SWP, if you will, our total talent management strategy. We know that there is a shortage of engineering talent in the country. The average age of the engineer is 58. We know that this is set to get worse over the next 5 to 10 years. So what we can't do is rely on what we've always done in the past, which is the ability to go out and hire that skill set from the market. So what we need is a different solution, and that is around this more holistic total management strategy. The benefits we've seen already in terms of this is that the organisation is understanding the challenge. We're noticing that on our journey to SWP, we're looking at a much more holistic approach to the talent problem that we have. And I think the major benefit is that we're seeing a much more joined up approach to this challenge between the business and HR. So I think there are 2 self-evident points. The first one is doing nothing is not a strategy. The second one is in the fast-moving world we live in, doing what you've always done in the past is not going to be the solution for the future. So I think we need to then change and we need to adapt. And that is looking at a holistic new strategy. To paraphrase Darwin, it's not the fittest of the species that survives, but the one that best adapts to change. And as the world is changing, we need to adapt to that change. As leaders in any organisation, we have only one fundamental job, and that is to ensure the long-term sustainability of that organisation. As HR professionals, we have a duty of care to our organisation to ensure that we manage our talent in the most efficient and optimal way. And for me, that is doing that through a total talent management strategy, which is driven by our strategic workforce planning strategy.